Early in the morning.
So guys, this is the part 2 of yesterday's video. If you didn't know or haven't seen, I dropped a video yesterday explaining the Diddy situation where Cassie took the stand against him and she was examined by the prosecution. And in this examination, she exposed the dark, demonic nature of Diddy. She exposed the freakoff. She exposed his narcissistic, weird manipulation tactics and his desire for control. Because that video was so long, because I was reading through the transcripts, I didn't really get the chance to really analyze it properly and expose what it actually exposes and what it tells us. And tomorrow's video will be another Diddy video because Cassie today is being cross-examined by the defense team. So we're going to see what Diddy's defense is and how they're going to try and prove that Cassie was complicit or she was a liar and all these things. Right, so I'll do a video on that tomorrow. So what's going on, people? Let me see your boy Cam Topical Juice, and we are back with another Diddy video. As I said, this one here is crazy, and I think it's very important that I follow this case and try to educate the masses, because sadly, so many men, not all men of course, but so many deluded low IQ men lack critical thinking. They're so one-dimensional that they think, oh, Cassie just must have been complicit. They think that she was complicit in a 10-year abusive relationship where they're having freakoffs that last as long as 4 days. She has to disassociate with drugs and they happen every single week with hookers. People are freaks, but do you really think that's a normal behavior? Come on, man. Like, you have to be really slow in the head. That's why I think it's important that I educate the masses on these things for people who don't understand how the real world works. So yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you like the video. It takes half a second. We got to push this video out to the wider community. If you like me, you like my content, you find yourself coming back here, consider pressing that subscribe button. It's free, you can change your mind. Press the bell to be notified. And this weekend's Patreon video is actually going to be about Diddy, going into more detail about his sex magic rituals, because what she proved is what we already knew. I already knew he was a Thelema anyway. I already knew he was a Freemason. But these freakoffs were literal sex magic rituals inspired by Aleister Crowley. So I'm gonna briefly mention it in this video, but I'm gonna go into bigger detail on my Patreon this weekend. So head over to Patreon, subscribe, support your boy, support the channel, and let's go. The first thing Cassie's explosive testimony proves, that Jonathan Oddi, the male escort who was arrested for the Trump Tower shooting back in 2018, was speaking nothing but 100% facts. Jonathan Oddi in 2018 got arrested and his interview got leaked years ago, years and years before Diddy was ever a thing. We ever found out Cassie was being abused. Years before any of this came to light, he was being interviewed and interrogated by police. 2018, he came out all those years ago and said, Rick Ross, DJ Khaled and Diddy, they are all gay. They are all part of what is known as the Boule Secret Society, which is basically the black branch of Freemasonry. You understand? For very, very powerful black people, athletes, actors. LeBron James is a member of the Boule Society. He's even got it tattooed on his chest. He came out all the way back then and said, I've been having sex with Cassie and Diddy. Diddy be watching me while I'm having intercourse with Cassie. I've seen and heard things. I've seen him talk lots of business. I've seen this, I've seen that. He starts talking about so many deep, like, oh, conspiracy, you know, all them like just people who can't think for themselves, just think it's a conspiracy. No, this is what the real world is. And he exposes all of that years back. He exposes assassination attempts, all these things. He exposes the hand symbols that Freemasons and, you know, Illuminati members be using. Now, don't get it confused. Illuminati is what people call it. Illuminati doesn't really exist anymore. You understand? If you know the history, it doesn't actually exist anymore like that. It's really Freemasonry. It's merged with Freemasonry. You feel me? So he exposes all that, and everything he said has been proven true now in court in terms of the Diddy stuff. He was mentioned in court in Miami as being an escort that they've worked with multiple times. You understand? He was made to sign a $5 million NDA to keep it all secret because Diddy feared that he knew too much. He divorced his wife ASAP and said he was broke, and then as soon as the divorce settled, he bought like 4 properties for like $750,000. You know what I'm saying? So like he got silenced, but he's still in jail now to this day, and no one knows what's happened. He hasn't had a trial in damn near 8 years. He's still in jail for 7 years at the moment. I would love to know what his thoughts are right now in jail while the world is talking about him. So if it's been proven in court, everything he said about sleeping with Cassie and Diddy watching and this and this, then you'd be stupid if you didn't believe the other stuff he said, like Rick Ross and DJ Khaled being gay. It's already proven that DJ Khaled is at least bi. The publicist, the industry publicist that had an interview last year, he literally came out and saw with his own eyes. He was on set. He saw DJ Khaled with a boyfriend. And he was like, well, it's well known, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's obvious, but no one cares about what your sexuality is. But do you understand what it really means and what it means? It shows what they're into. They portray this image of, yeah, I'm gangster this and gallus this and what, but really behind the scenes, they're into all this. Rick Ross is no different. Another thing Cassie's testimony proves is that the freak-offs aren't just big parties. I was kind of under the impression that the freak-offs were big sex magic rituals, like massive ones that involve loads of celebrities, loads of different rooms, a lot of voyeurism, a lot of cucking, a lot of swapping wives, swapping bodily fluids. But the reality is the freak-offs, while they were that, the freak-offs were also small parties, individual parties, where Cassie would basically be intimate with an escort or two while Diddy's literally watching. So he's into the voyeurism. They will finish on Cassie, and Cassie will wipe the fluids onto Diddy. This is so demonic, guys. I'm not gonna go into it now. It'll be on my Patreon video. But this is magic rituals. This is Aleister Crowley business. This proves that the freak-offs were like on a micro level as well, not just a macro level. They were small, couple of people, 3 people. But how frequent they were, every week for years, some lasting 4 days. And that's the next thing that the testimony proves, that drugs were a pivotal part of the ritual. Drugs were a pivotal part of the freak-offs. Not once did she ever say, yeah, we were sober, or we had a couple of drinks, a couple of cocktails, we got an escort and we had a threesome. Not once did she ever say that. It had to be GHB, coke, ecstasy, pills, shrooms. They had to take extreme opiates. She had to take extreme drugs before going into these freak-offs, because this is all part of Diddy's narrative. It's all part of the story that he wants. He wants you to be high on all these things so you can tap into this higher spiritual plane. You understand? I mean, if you don't understand this, you're clearly not like spiritual enough. You need to really properly do your knowledge and your research into what this world really is. But if you know Aleister Crowley, his teachings, for example, he often did this, a lot of hallucinogens, a lot of extreme drugs before having intercourse with kids and other women and men. You feel me? It's exactly what Diddy's doing. It's exactly what he's been accused of. So there's a lot of drugs going around in these parties always. And another thing it proves is that he laces drinks with the very same drugs. She said that she was pinging off ecstasy unintentionally one time because she was drinking Gatorade. Gatorade's meant to be something full of electrolytes and whatnot. I don't know how healthy it's meant to be, but this is the same Diddy who makes sure his freak-offs are set to a certain temperature. So she may have just grabbed Gatorade innocently just to kind of refresh herself, you know. She's dry mouth or whatever, and then all of a sudden she's pinging, she's rolling high off drugs, and then going into freak-offs. You don't understand, this is proper groundbreaking expose stuff, you know, of what these elites are into. You think Diddy's the only one? They're all into it. Jay-Z, he's into it. Beyonce, he's into it. The same Hollywood publicist exposed Jay-Z likes watching Beyonce, bro. Why do you think they do this? Bro, it's all because of the teachings of someone who they're inspired by. Jay-Z has been seen wearing jumpers that say, "Do what thou wilt" on it, bro, which is Aleister Crowley's Creole, his catchphrase or whatever. Do what thou wilt is the love of the law or love of the land, something like that. Love, by the way. We're gonna, again, I don't want to give away all my Patreon information, but why do you think Diddy changed his name from Diddy to Love, bro? Like, you have to understand what these demonic ritualistic people are on. Another thing this proves is that this is relevant to the SEX trafficking case that he's dealing with. Some people are so stupid. Honestly, the internet will really like wind you up because you realize how many people are like sheep. They're so impressionable, they're so low IQ, they don't actually have the brain capacity. It's not even for a lack of trying, maybe it is, but they don't actually have the brain capacity to understand how wrong they are. Do you know what I'm saying? Or how stupid and ignorant they come across. A lot of people say, well, he's not on trial for domestic violence, he's not on trial, he's on trial for sex trafficking. Like, bro, suck your mother, man. Look at this, is a clear indication of a monster, right? But anyway, Cassie proves she's involved in the trafficking because they did freak-offs in multiple countries and they hired workers, and she was basically being the one trafficked essentially. She had freak-offs in Ibiza. They would go across to a different country and they would get escorts in Ibiza and they'd have freak-offs. Yeah, they would do the same in Atlanta. They did the same in different states, New York, LA, Miami. The freak-offs were like literally global, you know what I'm saying? So that is where you're entering the lines of trafficking, because you're going over state lines, you're going over to a different location to do these things. You're transporting escorts, you're transporting Cassie and using her as part of your freak off. You know what I'm trying to say? She was basically the one being escorted, being trafficked. Some people to sit there and think that she was complicit in this, you're actually so stupid. Did she want to be a successful artist? Of course she did. Did she probably want fame and money and she thought Diddy could supply that for her? Of course, that's why you sign a deal. But she wasn't signing a deal to do freakoffs. She was signing a deal for Diddy to boost her music career. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna sit here and say that sleeping with Diddy gave her benefits? How many albums did she release? Was it one? On a 10 album deal. And her 2 biggest songs were released before Diddy even came on the picture. It was because of those songs that Diddy signed her. So what benefit did she receive? Yeah, okay, she received a nice lifestyle in terms of probably a private jet, a nice restaurants, and a nice home. But what was it worth? That was literally, she was imprisoned. I bet you ask her 100 times out of 100, she'll tell you it wasn't worth it. Okay, going to a nice restaurant and meeting cool people, and it was not worth her body, her integrity, her soul, her mind. Diddy took that because he's the devil. Literally, he is the embodiment of Satan. There's a lot of people out there who are. So it's not even like she had any benefit. Do you know what I'm saying? She didn't get paid from music by her. He controlled what parties she can go to, controlled what she wore. Like, bro, are you like, people are really slow. Some people were saying, oh, she was 19. Like, you're old enough to know at 19, you can just call the police. This man literally had people in the police force. How do you think he even got the heads up that he was about to be raided and he wasn't there? You've got to be slow. You're slow. You're actually slow. A billionaire who's been linked to murders, who blows up people's cars if you're dating them, and literally beats the shit out of people, got a history of violence, yeah? At 19 and he's 36, you think you're just gonna call the police on that man? Wow. Honestly, you must, you know what it is? The people that comment things like this, they must have lived such a privileged life that they haven't been exposed to what the real world actually is. Some of the other things that this proves, and we already knew this anyway, is that Diddy's into men. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's a voyeur. He likes watching his woman get drilled out like Jay-Z and the rest of them. But he's obviously into men as well. He wants their jizz on his body, bro. He's into men. There was talks about going to gay clubs and stuff. We've always known he's into men. That's what he likes. Obviously, the baby oil, that was 100% proven to be used for freakoffs. So when they seized that was proof that, yeah, they used that for the freakoffs because Cassie has to be glistening, quote, glistening. All these things, the nails, for example, it even proves that he does freakoffs with his own mother. I forgot to mention it. Well, I've just mentioned it now. I've done multiple videos proving, yeah, or putting it out there that Diddy has done freakoffs with his own mum. I'm not saying he's done things to his mum, but she's attended freakoffs. But do you know why? She had white painted nails, the way he likes them, and they were seen on an IV drip together. I've already exposed this. They did a video on it last year. Cassie literally says he only likes white nails, French tips, and once we finish freaking off, we get IV drips, we get massages, we get nice food cooked for us, etc., to help the recovery. That is exactly what Diddy was on with his mum. He even highlighted, he was like, yeah, my Duke's freshly dipped though. Talking about, is like, bro, the guy's finished. And when you're a powerful man and you have this much money, this much influence, our worlds are different now. If you want to buy a private jet, you can do that. If you want to buy an island, you can do that. So what do you give a man or a person that has everything? The only thing they want now is control. Humans. If they've had everything under the sun on God's green earth, they want to see how far they can push humans next. How far their mind obviously starts getting tapped. You don't get horny by just having a nice intercourse with one lady. You have to piss on them, and you have to bring in other people and make it start getting demonic. You have to get it more extreme just to get more aroused. Do you not see what a dangerous slope this is? But anyway, guys, the testimony really exposes a lot of things about Diddy, and this is only going to get worse. I just hope that people start coming out and exposing others who were tied to him. But anyway, man, let me know your thoughts, man. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay vigilant. I'll see you lot at the next video. Peace.